Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the weekly UK Sangha. We're here with many of our friends. We meet every week and we discuss the Dhamma, and we answer questions. I host these calls, so I do a lot of the talking, but anyone's welcome to join and um, speak wisdom that they would like to share as well, or if they have a different answer, a different perspective, they're welcome to speak out. Just know that it is an open dialogue, so if you speak out, it's not like a safe space, okay, where everyone's opinion is weighed equally. So there will be uh, um, discussion on and uh, counterpoints, etc. So just keep that in mind. If you have a perspective that you would like to share, it doesn't mean that it's like safe from any criticism at all. So it's important. That's an important way to learn, is that you dialogue with others, and there can be a constructive dialogue in that sense. But today I picked out a sutta. Uh, it's called The Invitation of a Brahma. It's from the Majjhima Nikaya 49. And this sutta, it's more like a kind of like a story, and it's kind of like a it can, if it's taken literally, it kind of sounds like just kind of like a magical story, but the meaning behind it is very relevant to practice in regards to fake enlightenments, so, and fake realizations. So experiences that can fool someone into believing that it's permanent and the absolute, so to speak. And like many other religions, including like Abrahamic religions, are based off this wrong view. But I'll just get into it. And just so you guys know, when it says Brahma in this case, it means literally a god. So a god that's abiding in some kind of heaven realm, that the Buddha is visiting in this sutta. So here I go. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anatta Pindika's park. There he addressed the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus, venerable sir, they replied. The Blessed One said this: Bhikkhus, on one occasion I was living at Ukata in the Sabbagha Grove at the root of a royal sala tree. Now on that occasion a pernicious view had arisen in Baka the Brahma thus: this is permanent, this is everlasting, this is eternal, this is total, this is not subject to pass away, for this neither is born, nor ages, nor dies, nor passes away, nor reappears, and beyond this there is no escape. So that sounds very familiar. So there's a God in heaven who is under the impression that he has arrived at something permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to pass away. That just sounds like most Abrahamic gods, right? Some kind of eternal divine overlord that is neither born, nor ages, nor dies, nor passes away. nor reappears. And then the next paragraph, the Buddha is quoted. I knew with my mind the thought in the mind of Baka the Brahma. So just as quickly as a strong man might extend his flexed arm or flex his extended arm, I vanished from the root of royal solitary in the Sabhaga grove at Ukata and appeared in the Brahma world. Baka the Brahma saw me coming in the distance and said, Come, good sir, welcome, good sir. It is long, good sir, since you found an opportunity to come here. Now, good sir, this is permanent, this is everlasting, this is eternal, this is total. This is not subject to pass away. For this neither is born, nor ages, nor dies, nor passes away, nor reappears. And beyond this there is no escape. When this was said, I told Baka the Brahma, the worthy Baka the Brahma has lapsed into ignorance. He has lapsed into ignorance in that he says of the impermanent that it is permanent, of the transient that it is everlasting, of the non-eternal that it is eternal, of the incomplete that it is total, of what is subject to pass away that it is not subject to pass away, of what is born, ages, dies, passes away, and reappears, that is neither born, nor ages, nor dies, nor passes away, nor reappears. And when there's an escape beyond this, he says there is no escape beyond this. Right? So in the Buddhist cosmology of things, there's gods, there's Brahmas in heaven realms, but um, those aren't eternal abodes. So like even those are subject to birth and then passing away. It's just that for a god, the lifespan is going to be a lot longer than for a human. So a god may fall under the impression that they are eternal because they just forgot the experience of something else. So in that sense, and Veda, I just muted you because there's some like sound coming through, but unmute yourself whenever you want. Um, and so in that sense, enlightenment is a little bit easier for a human to realize because they're kind of in the middle way. So they're neither God nor in a hell realm. So they have kind of like right in the middle of samsara, so they can realize an escape out of it. Whereas a god may be having too much of a good time to seek for an escape beyond this, even though there's just some dukkha still, even in heaven. Um, any type of being, any type of manifested form, any type of existence is unsatisfactory to some extent. So there's an escape beyond it, even though it can be very fantastic and very enjoyable. And this God has fallen into the illusion that it is the eternal ground of being, and it's not born and it doesn't die. And maybe it started Christianity or something before. Maybe something similar like that happened with other religions, and they're worshiping a God that believes it's eternal, but it's actually not, because the funny thing is that any being, so any entity, is not eternal. Anything that is a thing, or any divine being or prophet or savior, anything that comes into manifested form is subject to pass away as per the law of impermanence. There's literally nothing, there's no God that's permanent. There's no entity, there's no being that can be said to be everlasting. Even if there's gods out there, or devils, or what have you. All of it is impermanent because that's just the way that reality unfolds. Okay. Then Mara, the evil one, took possession of a member of the Brahma's assembly, and he told me, Bhikkhu, Bhikkhu, do not disbelieve him, do not disbelieve him, for this Brahma is the great Brahma, the overlord, the untranscended of infallible vision, the wielder of mastery, Lord Maker and Creator, Most High Providence, Master and Father of those that are and can ever be. Before your time, Bhikkhu, there were recluses and Brahmins in the world who condemned earth through disgust with earth, who condemned water through disgust with water, who condemned fire through disgust with fire, who condemned air through disgust with air, who condemned beings through disgust with beings, who condemned gods through disgust with gods, who condemned Pajapati through disgust with Pajapati, who condemned Brahma through disgust with Brahma, and on the dissolution of the body, when their life was cut off, they became established in an inferior body. Before your time, Bhikkhu, there were also recluses and Brahmins in the world who lauded earth through delight in earth, who lauded water through delight in water, who lauded fire through delight in fire, who lauded air through delight in air, who lauded beings through delight in beings, who lauded gods through delight in gods, who lauded Pajapati through delight in Pajapati, who lauded Brahma through delight in Brahma. And on the dissolution of the body, when their life was cut off, they became established in a superior body. So, Bhikkhu, I tell you this, be sure, good sir, to do only as the Brahma says. Never overstep the word of the Brahma. If you overstep the word of the Brahma, Bhikkhu, then like a man trying to deflect an approaching beam of light with a stick, or like a man losing his hold on the earth with his hands and his feet as he slips into a deep chasm, so it will befall you, Bhikkhu. Be sure, good sir, to do only as the Brahma says. Never overstep the word of the Brahma. Do you not see the Brahma's assembly seated here, Bhikkhu? And Mara, the evil one, thus called to witness the Brahma's assembly. So what happened here is the Mara, the evil one, took possession of one of Brahma's, so the god that's stating himself to be eternal, one of his assemblies, and he said, don't disobey this guy. He's the all-knowing, all-powerful one. Don't overstep your bound, and he is the Father, and obey this guy. So, I grew up in a Christian setting, and like every single song is like, "Oh Lord, we worship you, we praise you," like, um, and like, how dare someone disobey the word? Just hear the word of a God and just obey it without question, right? So this is the attitude of the ignorant, and this will keep you as a spiritual loser and in a spiritual prison. Um, it's not actually through wisdom or through insights or through realization, and it's not the path to salvation. It's not the path to nibbana. So it's Mara playing its tricks, trying to intimidate someone into cowering before an all-powerful God, and this leads to sort of remaining a child on the inside, a spiritual child, and remaining a victim, and kind of always having that attitude and fear. So you may have heard the expression God-fearing people, right? A Buddha is not afraid of anyone, a god or a human. So there's no God-fearing left anymore for one who's realized, um, who's realized things as they actually are, and seen reality, and seen how it operates, and the impermanence of all things. So I find that really interesting. reading the sutta, although it's kind of magical, like, oh, the Buddha's visiting heaven realm, which may have been, maybe he was tripping, he was having like a vision or something when that happened. Um, but it really rang a chord with my Christian upbringing, and the liberation after you let go of like being afraid of any kind of sky daddy or anything to that extent. When this was said, so in response to Mara here, the Buddha is speaking. When this was said, I told Mara the evil one, I know you, evil one. Do not think he does not know me. You are Mara, evil one. And the Brahma and the Brahma's assembly and the members of the Brahma's assembly have all fallen into your hands. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just reading a sutta here about the Buddha when he went to a heaven realm, and he's flexing on the gods there and teaching them the Dhamma. Okay. Members of the Brahma's assembly have fallen into your hands. They have all fallen into your power. You evil one, think, this one too has fallen into my hands. He too has fallen into my power. But I have not fallen into your hands, evil one. I have not fallen into your power. When this was said, Baka the Brahma told me, good sir, I say of the permanent that it is permanent, of the everlasting that it is everlasting, of the eternal that it is eternal, of the total that it is total, of what is not subject to pass away that it is not subject to pass away, of what neither is born nor ages nor dies nor passes away nor reappears, that it is neither is born nor ages nor dies nor passes away nor reappears. And when there is no escape beyond this, I say that there is no escape beyond this. So the Brahma is reasserting his position, although the Buddha has refuted it already. And then he says, essentially, before your time, Bhikkhu, there were recluses and Brahmins in the world whose asceticism lasted as long as your whole life. They knew when there is an escape beyond that there is an escape beyond. And when there is no escape beyond that, there is no escape beyond. So, Bhikkhu, I tell you this, you will find no escape beyond, and eventually you will reap only weariness and disappointment. If you will hold to earth, you will be close to me, within my domain, for me to work my will upon and punish. If you hold to water, fire, air, beings, etc., you will be close to me, within my domain, for me to work my will upon and punish. So this God is saying, see me in all things. So like it's kind of the idea like, oh, God is the overlord and God is in everything. So hold to it, cherish it, delight in it. This is all delusion that perpetuates the cycle of like clinging to being and reappearing and continuing the cycle. And then in response, the Buddha says, I know that too, Brahma. If I will hold to earth, I shall be close to you, within your domain, for you to work your will upon and punish. If I hold to water, to fire, to air, to beings, to gods, to Pajapati, to Brahma, I shall be close with you, within your domain, for you to work your will upon and punish. Further, I understand your reach and your sway to extend thus. Baka the Brahma has this much power, this much might, this much influence. Now, good sir, how far do you understand my reach and sway to extend? As far as moon and sun revolve, shining and lighting upon the quarters, over 1,000-fold such world does your sovereignty extend. And there you know the high and low, and those with lust and free from lust, the state that is thus and otherwise, the coming and going of being. Brahma, I understand your reach and your sway to extend thus. Baka the Brahma has this much power, this much might, this much weight, this much influence. But Brahma, there are three other bodies, which you neither know nor see, and which I know and see. There is the body called the gods of streaming radiance, from which you passed away and reappeared here. Because you have dwelt here long, your memory of that has lapsed, and hence you do not know or see it. But I know and see it. Thus, Brahma, in regards to direct knowledge, I do not stand merely at the same level as you. How then could I know less? Rather, I know more than you. There is the body called the gods of refulgent glory. There is the body called the gods of great fruit. You do not know or see that, but I know and see it. Thus, Brahma, in regards to the direct knowledge, I do not stand merely at the same level as you. How then could I know less? Rather, I know more than you. Brahma, having directly known earth as earth, and having directly known that which is not commensurate with the earthness of earth, I did not claim to be earth. I did not claim to be in earth. I did not claim to be apart from earth. I did not claim earth to be mine. I did not affirm earth. Thus, Brahma, in regard to direct knowledge, I do not stand merely at the same level as you. How then could I know less? Rather, I know more than you. So at this point, the Buddha is teaching this God, the Dhamma. He's saying, yes, I realize that your domain, how far it extends and how much you claim. But the Buddha is saying, I've seen other gods, other realms higher than you, and from which you were reborn and came from, but you just forgot about it. So he's flexing on him his spiritual attainment. And then also he's saying that he perceives earth as earth. So he has knowledge and vision of things as they actually are. And then through that wisdom, he does not claim to be earth, but he does not claim to be apart from it either. So he abides detached, not craving for any kind of being or non-being. And so he's transcended the level of this God because he's fully awakened and fully accomplished, not craving for any type of being, not even being a God. So he's kind of gone beyond wanting to be a God, which is a more liberated state than even being a God with all kinds of power and um, all kinds of presence across realms or domains or whatever. Okay. Good sir. And then in response, Brahma replies, good sir, if you claim to directly know that which is not commensurate with the allness of all, may your claim not turn out to be vain and empty? The consciousness that makes no showing, nor has to do with finiteness, not claiming being with respect to all. That is not commensurate with earthness of earth. That is not commensurate with the waterness of water. That is not commensurate with the allness of all. Good sir, I shall vanish from you. Vanish from me if you can, Brahma. Then Baka the Brahma saying, I shall vanish from the recluse Gotama. I shall vanish from the recluse Gotama was unable to vanish. Thereupon I said, Brahma, I shall vanish from you. Vanish from me if you can, good sir. Then I performed such a feat of supernatural power that the Brahma and the Brahma's assembly and the members of the Brahma's assembly could hear my voice but could not see me. After I had vanished, I uttered this stanza. Having seen fear in every mode of being, and in being seeking for non-being, I did not affirm any mode of being, nor did I cling to any delight in being. Um, at that, the Brahma and the Brahma's assembly and the members of the Brahma's assembly were struck with wonder and amazement, saying, It is wonderful, sir. It is marvelous, the great power and great might of the recluse Gautama. We have never before seen or heard of any other recluse or Brahmin who had such great power and such great might as has this recluse Gautama, who went forth from Sakyan clan. Sirs, through living in a generation that delights in being, that takes delight in being, that rejoices in being, he has extirpated being together with its roots. So extirpated just means to uproot and destroy. So he's uprooted being and cut it at the source. Then Mara, the evil one, took possession of a member of the Brahma's assembly, and he said to me, "Good sir, if that is what you know, if that is what you have discovered, do not guide your lay disciples or those gone forth. Do not teach the Dhamma to your lay disciples or to those gone forth. Create no yearning in your lay disciples or in those gone forth. Because your time, Bhikkhu, there were recluses and Brahmins in the world claiming to be accomplished and fully enlightened, and they guided their lay disciples and those gone forth. They taught the Dhamma to their lay disciples and to those gone forth. They created yearning in their lay disciples and in those gone forth. And on the dissolution of their body, when their life was cut off, they became established in an inferior body. Before your time, Bhikkhu, there were also recluses and Brahmins in the world claiming to be accomplished and fully enlightened, and they did not guide their lay disciples or those gone forth. They did not teach the Dhamma to their lay disciples or those gone forth. They created no yearning in their lay disciples or in those gone forth. And on the dissolution of the body, when their life was cut off, they became established in a superior body. So, Bhikkhu, I tell you this, be sure, good sir, to abide inactive, devoted to a pleasant abiding here and now. This is better left undeclared, and so, good sir, inform no one else. So, Mara is essentially saying, don't teach this to anyone. Don't teach the Dhamma to anyone, because this is bad news for Mara, okay? He's going to lose his business or whatever. When this was said, I told Mara, the evil one, I know you, evil one. Do not think he does not know me. You are Mara, the evil one. It is not out of compassion for their welfare that you speak thus. It is without compassion for their welfare that you speak thus. You think thus, evil one. Those to whom the recluse Gautama teaches the Dhamma will escape from my sphere. Those recluses and Brahmins of yours, evil one, who claim to be accomplished and fully enlightened, were not accomplished and fully enlightened. But I, who claim to be accomplished and fully enlightened, am accomplished and fully enlightened. If the Tathagata teaches the Dhamma to disciples, he is such, evil one. And if the Tathagata does not teach the Dhamma to the disciples, he is such. If the Tathagata guides disciples, he is such, evil one. And if the Tathagata does not guide disciples, he is such. Why is that? Because the Tathagata has abandoned the taints that defile, bring renewal of being, give trouble, ripen in suffering, and lead to future birth, aging, and death. He has cut them off at the roots, made them like a palm stump, done away with them, so that they are no longer subject to future arising. Just as a palm tree whose crown is cut off is incapable of further growth, so too the Tathagata has abandoned the taints that defile, cut them off at the roots, made them like a palm stump, done away with them, so that they are no longer subject to future arising. Thus, because Mara was unable to reply, and because it began with the Brahma's invitation, this discourse is entitled On the Invitation of a Brahma. Okay, that's the end of the sutta. If there's anything that you guys would like to discuss, any comments, what you thought about it, any questions, please feel free to jump in. I have to use the restroom, so I'll be back very quickly, but feel free to talk amongst yourselves and think of Dhamma topics to bring into the discussion. Yeah.
Did he mention what translation was that he was reading in the beginning? I see that's the Majjhima Nikaya 49, but I don't recall him mentioning the translation.
I don't
Likewise.
know. I got here late.
Okay, Scott, we are trying to remember if you mentioned what was the translation you read. It's from the Majjhima Nikaya Bhikkhu Buddha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was reading the Bhikkhu Sujato's translation on the Sutta Central site, Majjhima Nikaya 49. But apart from a few words,
Not too much difference.
Not too much difference. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a I just type in Bhikkhu Bodhi PDF, and then there's a PDF with the entire Majjhima Nikaya translated there. With so you can just scroll through it, and like also has the table of contents, so you could just pick out any sutta you would like to read. Is there any other question?
Yeah, I'd like to point at something. I find this discourse very interesting because, like you said, it could be some kind of explanation to many beliefs that we have in our world today. And it's funny to see how they are not very much different from beliefs that were held at the time of the Buddha, at least, or maybe even earlier than that, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
this belief that there is a mind overlord of the universe, right? Like a creator God that has existed since
forever,
forever, and will never cease, right? And this is addressed, and that thought today is held mostly by Abrahamic religions, right?
Yeah, and
others too, but mostly at the West, at least. And it's funny to see how this idea already existed way before the Abrahamic religions were as important as they are today, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is a funny thing, but the most intriguing thing for me is the aspect of the belief that Baka, the Brahman, had, that he had already investigated things and concluded that there was no further escape. And the Buddha goes there to teach him that, yes, there is further escape. Mm-hmm. And the only way he believed that was when the Buddha showed that he was capable of being in a state that he could not be recognized by Brahma, because Brahma taught that he was able to recognize all of creation, all of the universe, right? Or the galaxy, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think, and yet, and in the beginning you said that this this sutta was interesting because it addressed the false belief in enlightenment. So the question would be, how could we prevent, or how anyone can prevent to be caught in this kind of false belief, or in this belief that he has attained the last attainment possible, that there is no further escape, when actually there is?
So this is the litmus test that you can use for that is whether you think this is me, this is I, me, or mine, and whether you take ownership of it or not. Because all of the false enlightenments is some kind of experience that you can have where you develop a sense that this is me, I'm God, or something like that. I think a lot of people who some people who do psychedelics and they have some experience and then they and then they come out of it saying I'm God, right? That's a kind of fake enlightenment. You may experience some sort of divine unity with everything and see, oh, I am in all things, from Brahma to a blade of grass. That's a quote from the Ashtavakra Gita. It says, I am in all things, from Brahma to a blade of grass. So this is kind of like, it's actually it's kind of like a high attainment. It's like a really ecstatic state to experience that you are in all things. But there's something further beyond it, where you don't take ownership of that. You're neither claiming to be apart from all things nor to be in all things. So it's kind of a middle way. So it's not the opposite of extreme where you're saying I'm in nothing. That's not a fully realized understanding either. But you're not claiming to be in it. So you see things with an absolute clarity for what they are. So all things are impermanent, even me, even the observer. So I'm not clinging to it. I'm not identifying with it. I'm not saying this is me, but I'm not saying I'm apart from it either. It is the way that it is. So this is the middle way. Not clinging to any type of being. So neither craving for rupa raga or arupa raga. So craving for being or non-being. So the Buddha has transcended the duality of it, and the paradox of it, and has totally the Tathagata, so has fully come into reality as it is, and is no longer bound. It is no longer chained to even being a god or being omnipresent or whatever, which is still a quality, still a limitation. So you can be an all-powerful, omnipresent God who believes it's eternal, and that's still not as good as the enlightenment of the Buddha, of not being attached to any of it. And it doesn't, I mean, it had some magical stuff in there, but the main message of it I take from it is when he teaches him the Dhamma. So it says like, oh yeah, he vanishes and whatever, but it's what he says that's more important to me. he says, having seen fear in every mode of being and in being seeking for non-being, I did not affirm any mode of being, nor did I cling to any delight in being. So he does not affirm any mode of being, and he does not delight in any mode of being. So he's not fooled into the illusion of being some kind of all-powerful, omnipresent, eternal God, which is impossible because nothing is eternal. It's just it's just the nature of reality. Nothing that comes into existence will, if it comes into existence, it will come out of existence. It's just the logic of it, right? You don't have to be an Einstein to realize that. If there's a creator, right, a creator being, see, this is where the argument falls apart for Christians. They're like, oh, how could the universe just be here? There must be a creator. But then you ask, okay, what created the creator, right? If you have that logic of the universe or reality that it needs a being that created it, well, then how did that being exist? Well, they say, oh, it just always existed. It's eternal being. Well, then that doesn't make sense. Like you have to apply the same logic to the universe that you're not applying to your God. So your God, if it is in a being, it's subject to being created, being born, and dying, just like everything else. So there's nothing really that is eternal, and that's a good thing because uh, um, Buddhahood or realization or knowledge and vision of things as they actually are is neither eternal nor not eternal. Like it's just the way it is. So it's not subject to the same limitations of either always existing or not existing, because it's those two things are codependent arising. So things that exist and things that don't exist are dependent upon each other. So eternity and time are codependent arising. But the mistake comes when something that is born and dies believes itself to be eternal, is a delusion. And when that thing passes away, the delusion and its permanence will cause dukkha. So to not fight the natural law of reality and to just realize it for what it is truly the most sublime realization that you could have. And everything is just fine and dandy, just the way it is. And this moment is totally enough, regardless of whether it's going to last into the future or not. Any projection I make about the way things are right now, continuing into the future, is based off ignorance. So by not making that attachment, by not clinging to something right now, I abide detached from the ever-changing fact of the matter. Everything is changing, but everything changing doesn't disturb me and it doesn't cause me dukkha because I realize that everything changes. It's just the simple fact of the matter. Even a fantastic jhanas, even experiencing boundaryless love and just like even states of consciousness that you say, oh, this is the enlightenment, this must be it, this is me, I'm eternal. Nope, that changes too. Sorry. That's impermanent and is subject to the same things. But that's the beauty of it, though, is that it's all changing. Um, it's not like some people might get the wrong idea and think it's kind of like a nihilistic type of teaching, but it's not. It's just the realization of the way things are, and the way things are is a lot better than the way you believe they are. So all of your delusions and beliefs actually, to some extent, cause yourself dissatisfaction. Because actually being a god sounds like a lot of trouble and a lot of worries. I'm in charge of all this shit and like I'm responsible for it. That's a lot. That's a lot on your plate, isn't it? I wouldn't want to deal with that. A Buddha doesn't have any such of those problems. A Buddha can teach the Dhamma or not teach the Dhamma. It makes no difference to the Buddha. He's fully accomplished and fully realized. Um, um, and teaching the Dhamma just leads to the welfare of other beings. Or he could just not teach it. I think teaching the Dhamma is teaching the Dhamma has pros and cons, and so does not teaching the Dhamma. So either way. But yeah, that's the end of my little spiel. If you have anything to add or say about that? Anyone else in the chat would like to speak out?
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, Veda.
Well, I'd like to say that I'm very thankful for him deciding to teach the Dhamma.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's pretty sweet, you know. I haven't found a teaching that has surpassed the teaching of the Buddha. And I looked around. So I went shopping in the spiritual marketplace, pretty much everywhere you could go. And I tried out all of them, and like really, I didn't just like dip my toe in the water. Like I tried all of the ways. And this is the only way that has truly been liberating, truly satisfying. I haven't found another way. I had my fun with other ways, but ultimately not satisfying.
Would you say that the teachings of the Buddha are quite thorough, Scott?
Yeah, it's pretty thorough. If you guys try reading the Majjhima Nikaya and just read the whole thing, you won't find another teaching, religion, philosophy. I think it's more thorough and precise and to the point than even like if you read like Nietzsche or something. Nietzsche just sounds like a rambling idiot compared to the teaching of the Buddha. Like, so it's pretty thorough, and it's pretty intelligent. And there is some stuff in there that's kind of magical that you kind of just have to use your wisdom to like sift through, because obviously this compiled teachings, it's probably not word like every bit of it might not be exactly what came directly out of the Buddha's mouth, but there's a good portion of it that through direct experience I can confirm that it came from an enlightened being because of being able to recreate it. So the idea is not to believe in anything, but to follow the instruction, follow the teaching, to the realization of your own wisdom, so that you don't have to have you don't have to be reliant on even the Buddha, because the Buddha saw that the Buddha didn't want people to worship him or praise him or think of them as their savior. Like, oh, trust in the Buddha and he will save you. No, he said, do it for yourself. Here's the Dhamma. Here's the way. Do it for yourself, and be a light unto yourself. This is what is going to lead to your long-term welfare and happiness. So yeah, the only person who can save yourself is yourself. So you kind of have to save yourself. And there is sort of a power that comes along with saving yourself. Because, oh, if you're saved by Jesus and you get the heebie-jeebies and Jesus saved me, you'll have to always be reliant on that idea of Jesus to save you again, right? But if you save yourself, the power is within you. So it's actually part of the Enlightenment is that I think there's 6 of them, the 6 bases of spiritual power or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about, DJ?
I think it's 5, right?
4, 5. Either 4, 5, or 6. But
if you're meaning the Iddhipada, the 4 bases of success, or 4, if you're meaning the 5 powers,
yeah,
5.
5 powers.
Yeah.
So there's real power to it. There's powers that come along with it. I need to study it more to recount what the 5 are, but inner power. All right. Any other topics that it could be totally unrelated if you guys want to talk about just practical meditation advice, anything practical, or it could be supernatural. I like the Buddhist cosmology. One time, I listened to a Dhamma teaching about the 31 planes of existence, and I asked Dhammarato about it, and he said, "Yeah, people go up dreaming all kinds of stuff," and he essentially said it's just something some guy made up, and it was like a very old idea that actually is from Hinduism. And so I entertain realms and cosmology of things with a grain of salt. The actual practice of the Dhamma is only concerned with the direct experience of reality as it is here and now. So I like to read about
that much is very much enough, right?
And it's not that it's
reality.
Enough.
It's enough.
It's not that it's just enough. It's all that you're ever gonna get.
Yeah.
So it is enough because it's all there is, really.
Don't bother about other realms. Reality is enough.
Or if you go to another realm, then that will be reality. So
yeah.
The idea is that
so.
I'm not saying affirming or denying other realms, whether they exist. Like the truth of the matter is, like, there probably is other dimensions, other realms. Like, how could, like, it's unlikely that this is the only domain of existence that is there. But the fact of the matter is, this is the only domain of existence that you're experiencing. And any other one that you imagine will just be a mental proliferation and imagination, which is a source of your own ignorance. So, but the cool thing is, no matter what realm you're in, the way that reality functions is the same. So it's all going to be in accordance to the laws of impermanence and dependent origination. Any phenomena, anything is dependently originated, even a God creator and what have you. But these are insights that you can see through for yourself by stopping imagining other pasts and futures, other lifetimes and whatnot, and just to stop, rest here and now, and be satisfied with this, and stake your entire life and your entire existence in this moment, and this moment, etc. And through that satisfaction and that unification of mind, you can see reality for what it is. So you can see body as body, thoughts as thoughts, feelings as feelings, earth as earth, etc. And that clear seeing is the path to enlightenment. Okay, I think we've been going for about an hour here. So unless there's a burning question, I'm going to end it there. DJ, do you have any closing remarks?
Oh, the burning question is silent.
And the answer is silent as well. Yurdi, any closing remarks? It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Veda, are you there?
Yep.
Any last words?
Thank you. No.
Marcel?
No, nothing, man. Thanks.
Thanks for coming, guys. Rulaz, am I saying his name right? Rulaz? Franco? I think he's gone, but we could say goodbye to his bed. Okay, everyone, take care. Have a blessed day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.